Sarah, can you take us through what it was like to first get the call that you were going to ref the Super Bowl, and then kind of your emotions around it and the game itself, just from your vantage point?
Yep. So Jen, I got the call January 19th. We knew the calls were going out that day for the crew, and I get the call from one of the supervisors, and it's shortly after I'd left the gym, and he starts talking about a couple of plays in a prior game, and I really thought that that's what he was calling about. I mean, he was selling it, should I say? And then he said, "Well, the reason I'm calling you is because we know you're going to nail it in the Super Bowl when you're down judge for Super Bowl 55 in Tampa, Florida." I pulled off the side of the road so I would not lose cell service. And I screamed, I teared up. And it was just so great that he was the one calling me. He's just been one of those guys that's been in my corner, and you just know it. And just, I've shared a lot with him. And so it was great for him to be the guy that called me. Hung up with him. I FaceTime my mom. So Jen, you know how close I am with my mom and my dad. And I asked my mom, I said, "Is dad there with you?" And she goes, "No, he's actually gone to Jerry Lee's. That's his little place he goes." And I said, "Well," I said, "I was gonna wait." And I said, "But I just need to tell you something." And she's like looking at me, and I said, "I'm working the Super Bowl as the down judge in Tampa this year." And she said, "Are you pulling my leg?" And we both started crying, and it was just that moment. And then of course I FaceTime my dad and then the kids. But Jen, that day it was phone call after phone call, text after text, and I think my phone stopped ringing about 1 a.m., from 10 a.m. to 1 a.m. And then it was laser focus. It was dodging COVID. I didn't leave my home. People did not come into my home unless they had masks. My kids, I would spray Lysol like crazy. And it was just, a lot of people are like, "Sarah, you're just so somber." Jen, it's kind of like your mentality as a coach. You coach, you get to the big stage, you get to the national championship, you get to that game that you've been shooting for, and you're not satisfied. You've got a job to do. You've got to work it elitely. And getting there, you know, through COVID, and bypassing COVID and getting there, it wasn't a celebration for me until the confetti was coming down. I did have a couple of moments, Jen. I walked onto the field before anybody was there and just took it all in. Then I went and found my kids right before we kicked off. And that's when I was just like, "Okay, I'm ready. Let's go. They're all safe. They're here." This is another game to me, Jen. That's how us on that crew, what an elite crew we had. The crew I got to work with all season was phenomenal. But seriously, we had a job to do, and we knew that we could do it, and we would give it our best, and we did. And when that game was over, and a mentor of mine told me, he said, "You stand there on that field and you take all of that in, let the confetti fall on you." And then I went and I was able to hug my 3 kids, and the rest is history.
Literal history.